me talk to you real quick. You want the dream, you want the car, you want the house, you want the business, you want to leave a legacy, right? But you don't want to grind for it. Let me tell you something real. Talent is cool. Talent gets you noticed, but discipline keeps you there. Talent might open the door, but discipline holds it open when everything around you is trying to slam it shut. You know what the problem is? Most people think it's about being the most gifted, the smartest, the fastest, the strongest. But the truth is, none of that matters without discipline. I've seen people with all the potential in the world throw it away because they couldn't stay consistent. They started strong. They had that fire in the beginning. They were loud. They were hyped. They were making noise, but they couldn't stay with it. Why? Because when the excitement wore off, so did their effort. When it got hard, they got soft. When it got uncomfortable, they disappeared. But the ones who rise, the ones who actually make it, they're not always the most talented. They're the ones who show up, rain or shine, tired or rested, motivated or not. They're the ones who don't wait for a perfect moment because they know the moment becomes perfect when you give everything you've got to it. See, discipline is what makes you get up at 5 a.m. when nobody's clapping for you. Discipline is what makes you go the extra mile when your legs are screaming to stop. Discipline is choosing growth over comfort, not once, not sometimes, but every single day. You want to separate yourself? You want to be that one in a million? Stop relying on how you feel and start depending on what you've decided. Because feelings fade, motivation fades, but discipline, that's a decision. You decide to commit, you decide to execute, you decide to show up, not just when it's convenient, but especially when it's inconvenient, because that's when you get better. That's when you build that mental toughness. That's when you stop being average and start becoming unstoppable. Let me break it down. Everybody wants the result, right? The body, the business, the brand, the money, the recognition. But very few want the repetition it takes to get there. They want the six-pack, but they skip workouts. They want the success, but they snooze the alarm. They want freedom, but they can't even finish a to-do list. That's not a talent problem. That's a discipline problem. The grind is not complicated. It's not flashy. It's waking up day after day, hour after hour. While everyone else is looking for a secret, a shortcut, a hack, you just keep showing up. That's your edge, because discipline doesn't care about likes. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't need applause. It's silent. It's unsexy. It's painful, but it's what builds legacies. You want to change your life? You want to go to the next level? Make discipline your best friend. It won't always be pretty. It won't always feel good, but it will always pay off, not just in results, but in the person you become along the way. Let everyone else take days off. Let them talk more than they work. Let them quit when it gets tough. You be the one who keeps showing up, because talent might set the pace. Everybody wants to win, but not everybody wants to work. Everybody wants the prize, but not everybody wants the process. And that's where most people fall off. They say they want to be great, but the moment it stops being fun, they quit. They say they're all in, but the second it gets hard, they back out. Because deep down, they never fell in love with the process. They fell in love with the idea of success, the image, the attention, the outcome. But listen to me, success is not sexy. It's not glamorous. It's not fireworks and finish lines. It's not motivational quotes on Instagram and people cheering you on. It's repetition. It's silence. It's discipline. It's grinding on days you feel empty. It's staying focused when distractions are screaming your name. It's doing the small, boring, thankless things over and over and over again, because that's how greatness is built. You don't rise to the top by doing something once. You get there by doing it every day without fail. And that's the part most people don't talk about. That's the part that separates the ones who dream from the ones who do. See the process? It's early mornings when the world is still asleep. It's turning down comfort. It's fighting off the voice in your head telling you to quit, to skip, to do it later. It's learning to love the days nobody sees, nobody claps, and nobody cares. Because you care, because your future cares. The process is ugly, it's hard, it tests you. It exposes your weaknesses, your laziness, your excuses. But that's why it's powerful. That's why it works. Because it doesn't just shape your results, it shapes your character. You want to know why people fail? Because they chase the goal, but they hate the grind. They chase the reward, but they resent the routine. You can't have one without the other. The people who make it, they respect the process so much, they eventually fall in love with it. Not because it's easy, but because they understand that's where the real magic is. You don't get strong from lifting a weight once. You don't get skilled from practicing once. You don't become world class by showing up when it's convenient. You become a beast when you fall in love with showing up, even when everything in your body tells you to stop. You've got to fall in love with being uncomfortable. Fall in love with repetition. Fall in love with the routine that breaks the old you down and builds the new you up. Because it's the mundane that makes you legendary. It's the things nobody wants to do that create the results everybody wants to have. If you only train when it's fun, you'll lose to the one who trains when it's not. If you only show up when it's easy, you'll get left behind by the one who shows up when it's hard. You've got to build a mindset that doesn't flinch when things get boring, because boring is where mastery lives. Boring is where success hides. You want to stand out? Fall in love with the work that nobody sees. Fall in love with the grind that nobody claps for. Fall in love with the process. Let's get one thing straight. You can have excuses or you can have results. You can have reasons or you can have rewards. You can talk about why you can't, or you can show the world how you did. But you don't get both. See, everybody's got a story. Everybody's got a struggle. Everybody's been through pain, setbacks, trauma, doubt. And yes, it's real. I'm not saying your excuse isn't valid. I'm saying your excuse can't live here if you're trying to build something that lasts. Empires aren't built on comfort. They're not built on I was going to or I almost did. They're built on execution, on showing up even when the odds are stacked against you. They're built by people who look at the obstacle and say, I hear the excuse, but I choose to rise anyway. Excuses are easy. They're automatic. The moment it gets hard, your brain starts feeding them to you. You're tired. You deserve a break. You're not ready. Maybe tomorrow. And the moment you start believing those excuses, you just gave your power away. You gave away your momentum. You gave away your consistency. You gave away your progress. All for a story that justifies why you stayed the same. But here's the truth. The world doesn't care about your excuse. It's cold, I know, but it's real. The world rewards execution. The world pays results. And if you want to build something big, a business, a body, a name, a future, you got to stop defending your limitations. The difference between the person who wins and the person who watches, one of them finds a way, the other finds an excuse. Look around. The people you admire, the ones out there winning, making noise, changing the game, they had excuses too, but they didn't let them own them. They took the pain and used it as fuel. They took the fear and turned it into focus. They didn't say, why me? They say, try me. You want to level up? You want to become something more? Then you've got to kill the victim mindset. You got to stop saying, I can't because, and start saying, I will anyway. Because there will always be a reason not to do it. There will always be a circumstance you could blame. There will always be someone who had it easier, got more support, started with more money, more time, more talent. But success doesn't go to the one with the best excuse. Success goes to the one who gets up anyway, who puts in the reps anyway, who says discipline anyway, who says, I'm not waiting for perfect. I'm not waiting to feel ready. I'm moving now. Excuses might make you feel better in the moment, but they cost you everything long term. They rob you of your potential. They steal your confidence. They leave you wondering what if, when you should be out here making it happen. You want to build an empire? You want to leave a legacy? You better learn to outwork your excuse every single day. You better wake up and remind yourself, pain, yeah, you're going to feel it. You're going to wake up sore, exhausted, doubting yourself. You're going to lose people. You're going to hear no more times than you want. You're going to fail. You're going to get hit harder than you ever thought you could. That's life. That's the grind. That's the reality of chasing something bigger than you. But listen to me, pain is temporary. It's a moment. It's a season. It's a test. It doesn't last. But your purpose, that's forever. That's legacy. That's what they remember when you're gone. And the problem is too many people give up in the pain before they ever get to taste the power of their purpose. They fold the moment it hurts. They run the second it's uncomfortable. They talk about how bad they want it, but as soon as life hits back, they tap out. You got to understand something. Pain is not punishment. Pain is preparation. It's not there to destroy you. It's there to develop you. It's refining you, molding you, exposing the weakness so strength can take its place. That pain you're feeling, that's the cost of growth. And if you're serious about your purpose, really serious, you'll pay that price every single day. Because purpose doesn't live in your comfort zone. Purpose doesn't show up when everything's easy. Purpose is revealed when you're on the edge, tired, bleeding, broken, but you keep going anyway. And yeah, pain whispers, quit, pain screams, this isn't worth it. But purpose whispers back, keep pushing. There's more in you. There's something greater on the other side of this. Most people don't lack talent. They lack the toughness to push through the pain. They'd rather be comfortable than fulfilled. They'd rather settle for average than suffer for greatness. But you've got something inside you, something built different. You weren't made to quit. You weren't made to break. You were made to rise, to grind, to endure, because your purpose is too big to walk away from. You think champions didn't feel pain? You think legends didn't want to quit? They just made a different decision. They decided their why was bigger than their wounds. They decided their vision was stronger than their victimhood. They didn't let pain become their story. They used it to write a better one. You have to rewire how you see pain. Stop running from it. Start respecting it. Because if it's hard, it means you're stretching. If it hurts, it means you're growing. And if it's testing you, it means you're close to breaking through. It's not supposed to feel good. This journey, it demands everything. But that's the price of purpose. That's what it takes to live life on your terms. And I promise you, no amount of comfort, no shortcut, no excuse will ever feel as good as waking up knowing you stayed in the fight. Because pain fades, but purpose? Stop announcing everything. Stop posting every little move. Stop looking for applause before the work is even done. The grind doesn't need an audience. The grind needs your focus. See, somewhere along the way, people started confusing noise with progress. They started thinking that telling the world what they're about to do is somehow more important than actually doing it. Let me give it to you straight. The real ones, the focused ones, the obsessed ones, they don't need to prove anything on day one. They don't care about the height. They're too busy locked in, buried in the trenches, building in silence, because they know the only sound that matters is the sound of results. When you grind in silence, you cut out the distractions. You cut out the comparisons. You stop looking left and right. And you start looking straight ahead. You get in the zone where it's just you, the work, and the mission. And that's where the magic happens. In the lonely hours, in the sweat nobody sees, in the tears nobody hears, in the late nights when the world is asleep and you're still up, chasing the version of you that refuses to settle. You don't owe anyone updates. You don't need validation to execute. You're not grinding for claps. You're grinding because there's something in you that refuses to die. Or let them sleep on you. Let them doubt you. Let them think you fell off. That's fine. That's fuel. That's leverage. Because while they're watching the spotlight, you building something bulletproof in the dark. And when it's time to shine, when you finally step out, when the results speak, it hits different. Because you didn't buy that glow, you earned it. You didn't rent success for the gram. You paid for it in full with discipline, sacrifice, and grind. People always say move in silence, but let me tell you something deeper. Silence builds pressure, and pressure creates power. Pressure creates diamonds. The grind is your pressure chamber. It's where you go to refine, to sharpen, to level up, not to flex, but to become undeniable. You don't need to talk about the moves you're making. Your results will scream for you. Your body will show it. Your business will show it. Your skills, your work ethic, your impact, all of it will speak louder than any status update ever could. Let them wonder what you're up to. Let them question how you're moving so fast. Let them be surprised when you show up 10 steps ahead, because while they were talking, you were building. While they were watching, you were working. And while they were waiting for perfect conditions, you were grinding through storms with no camera, no crowd, no congratulations. Just commitment. You don't have to tell the world what you're about. Live it. Breathe it. Become it, so that when the light finally hits you, it doesn't expose the show. It reveals the real work, the real growth, the real grind. Because if you grind in silence long enough, the day will come where you walk into a room and without saying a word, let's cut straight to the truth, nobody's coming. Not your friends, not your boss, not your parents, not your partner, not the government, not some magic opportunity. No one is coming to save you. And once you accept that, once that truth hits your soul, you stop waiting and you start working. Because here's the reality. You can cry about it. You can blame the world. You can talk about how unfair life is. But at the end of the day, it's your life and no one's going to carry you to the top. No one's going to do the push-ups for you. No one's going to build your dream for you. It's on you. The sooner you stop expecting a handout, the sooner you stop waiting for motivation, the sooner you stop hoping someone is going to knock on your door and deliver success, the sooner you start building your empire. See, most people want success like it's Amazon Prime. They want to order it tonight and have it delivered by tomorrow. But success don't show up in a box. It doesn't come with a tracking number. It comes when you stop making excuses and take ownership of everything. Your past, own it. Your pain, own it. Your struggle, own it. Your procrastination, your missed chances, your bad habits, own all of it. Because until you do, nothing changes. It's easy to point fingers. It's easy to say, they didn't help me. They didn't support me. They didn't believe in me. But let me ask you this. Do you believe in you? Do you show up for you? Do you fight for your dream like your life depends on it? Because it does. You keep waiting for someone to come and give you permission to start, to speak, to lead, to create, to grind. But you don't need permission. You need decision. You need action. You need to look in the mirror and say, if I want it, I'm going to get it. Period. Nobody's going to do the reps for you. Nobody's going to chase your dream harder than you. Nobody's going to feel your fire if you let it die. And the longer you wait for someone else to believe in you, the longer you delay your purpose. This world is built for the ones who take control, the ones who wake up hungry, the ones who don't wait for motivation, they create it. The ones who don't wait for a hero because they become one. And yeah, it's lonely sometimes. You have days when no one checks on you, no one claps for you, no one says keep going. And in those moments, you've got to be your own motivation. You've got to be your own fire, because when you finally make it, when you reach that next level, nobody's going to ask who helped you. They're going to ask how you did it. And the answer, you showed up. You didn't wait for a savior. You became your own. This is your life. This is your race. And you either run it with everything you got, or you sit on the sidelines watching someone else win with less talent, less resources, less support, but more hunger, more drive, more ownership. No one's coming to do it for you.